Hello and welcome to Calvary Chapel Daily Devotions. This is the 23rd of April, 2020. Today would be our 9th video in this series, and it's actually part 2 of the 7th appearance of Jesus to people. So yesterday was about Jesus meeting with the apostles as they're fishing, and then in the same passage it continues on with even a deeper message. So in the Gospel of John chapter 21, let me point out a few things. Starting with verse 15, it says, "So when they had eaten breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, 'Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these?' In the Greek, he says, 'Do you agapeo me more than the rest of these?' And Peter says, 'Lord, you know, I phileo you, I love you as a brother.' And then Jesus says to him, 'Feed my lambs.' And this goes on 3 times. Jesus saying, 'Do you agapeo me?' Peter replying, 'I love you as a brother.' The second time, Jesus says, 'Tend my sheep.' And then finally, the third time, Jesus goes down to Peter's level. 'Peter, do you love me like a brother?' And Peter acknowledged, 'Yes, I do. Lord, you know everything. Of course I love you.' And then he says, 'Feed my sheep.' So, feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. And we see this beautiful restoration going on. It reminds me of Psalm 23, where it says, 'The Lord restores my soul.' And the Lord is always in that business. But it goes on in verse 20. Actually, I'll back up to verse 18. Jesus says, 'Most assuredly I say to you,' talking to Peter, 'when you were younger, you girded yourself and walked where you wished. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and another will gird you and carry you where you do not wish.'" And it says in verse 19, he was speaking of signifying what type of death Peter would die to glorify God. Tradition says that Peter was crucified, but at his request, he was crucified upside down, saying that he wasn't worthy to be crucified exactly like Jesus was. Amazing. But then it goes on. In verse 20, "Then Peter, turning around, saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following," talking about John, "who also had leaned on his breast at supper and said, 'Lord, who is the one who betrays you?'" reflecting on the Last Supper. Verse 21, "Peter, seeing him, said to Jesus, 'But Lord, what about this man?'" So Peter hears from Jesus how he's going to die, and he's curious about, well, what about John? And then here's something very important. In verse 22, Jesus said to him, "If I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you?" And here it is, "You follow me." See, Jesus in his restoration, he's very personal. And as we follow him, it's a personal walk with him, trusting him in a personal way because he's reached out to us uniquely, personally, specifically. And so as we're in this new phase of our life, if you will, some radical changes, at least for a while because of this virus, we can be pressing into the Lord. And as we do, he's going to speak with us, bring healing to us, and even restoration if we need that. And it's going to be personal. So we don't have to be concerned about what other people are doing in their walk with the Lord as much as Jesus would say, "No, Kirk, you follow me. You follow me the way that I've reached out to you and give you instruction and call you to follow me." So isn't that beautiful? The Lord restores. He does it beautifully. He does it perfectly. He does it personally. And so you can be praying for the outreach today. We're feeding people in Ocean View today. And that will be happening within the next couple hours. So be praying for that. And then I'll have an update about that tomorrow. And until next time, God bless.